Hey, welcome to another episode of Clear Lake Connections, where we talk to the people behind the businesses of Bay Area Houston, proudly sponsored by UTMB Health. Today's special guest is Dr. Rad, and you are with WLNS Wellness. So wellness.
Wellness. It's WLNS.
Yeah.
It's wellness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you do and the history behind.
So I'm an ER doctor. I've been an ER doctor for a long time, over 20 years. This year I turned 50, and I wanted to do, start working on something different. Working in the ER is a lot of fun. You see a patient, you take care of them, and that's it. But I wanted to I turned 50 and I realized, well, most of us are going to live to 80 just by the numbers. And I wanted to work on health span and trying to, talk to patients and helping them get into wellness and help improving lifespan and health span and making sure that people are able to live, a long life, which they likely will do, but also live a healthy life. And help manage chronic diseases and just try to help people live their best life possible.
So you're basically switching careers right in the towards the end for some, and I guess what would be the middle for others.
Not really switching careers. I'm still doing the ER.
Okay.
I just cut back a little bit on the ER part, and I started doing this. It's really been a passionate project for me. I started several months ago. Basically, it's a virtual online telehealth clinic where I just coach people on wellness and just help them. So the reason I picked WLNS as a spelling for wellness, I picked 8 categories that I felt like people need to focus on. So the W is for weight management and wakeful living. So weight management is just, being the ideal weight affects so much of our health parameters and makes a big impact on our health span. And then wakeful living, just the way that our society is going, we're just bombarded with so many distractions, and it's easy to kind of fall asleep at the wheel because we're on social media or watching news or this, and just it's easy to slip into a passive life and not be active and awake and engaged in life. So I thought that was an important aspect. The L was for longevity and just kind of helping people live a healthy, long life. The other L was for loneliness, our loneliness prevention. Loneliness is a big epidemic or pandemic in the world now, and it's kind of silent. No one talks about it, but a lot of people are suffering from loneliness, and we haven't really created a societies that help recognize it, help curb it. And I think really, I just want to draw attention to this issue and be like, hey, we need to kind of have.
Well, I think traditional medicine is starting to focus more also on the mental aspect and mental health, right, and how it affects all of those other things.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's a great way to incorporate it.
Yeah. So and for longevity, we need community, things like this, things like the chamber, where people get together and have opportunities to meet and are not so isolated. So we have WL. And then NS, so the N was for nirvana, which is, like you said, mental health, like improving our, mental health. And the other N was nutrition, just, learn to eat better, learn to eat more mindfully, eat more farm to table, fresh foods, whole foods. And the S was for sleep, which is very important, which not too many of us prioritize, but it's important to get a good 8 hours of sleep. And good quality sleep, without the use of sleep aids on a chronic basis. And the last S was for sexual vitality, which, what's the point of wellness?
Living to 80 until, okay. I like that. That's, I like the way you constructed that, and it fits perfectly.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of create a holistic model for wellness, and that's how I came up with WLNS, So.
And so you're doing this kind of as a side project. You're still in as an ER doctor, so I guess you have a lot of flexibility in that role.
So the ER is something that I've done for a long time. I love it, but every so often I need to do something different. Like 4 or 5 years ago, I got to a point where I was like, you read medicine for so long, and you just make very incremental, improvements in your knowledge gap, right? Because you know a lot about it, and there's just, you're not learning a lot more stuff every year. So I started a soap business like 5 6 years ago, and that was like the greatest education that I had. Learning marketing, learning packaging, learning distribution, warehousing, inventory management, sales. Building a website. So I really enjoyed that time where I got to step back and kind of put my energies into something else where I learned a lot, and I enjoyed that, like having that challenge of like learning and having to have new challenges to overcome.
Well, and you bring up a good point, because I think the people that I've always seen that are they're sharpest when they're in their old age, they're always learning, they're always doing new stuff.
Right.
And I'm sure there's science behind that.
There is. You have to keep the saw sharp, otherwise it's going to get dull. Mm-hmm. And so how you do that is just continuing to use it. And if you're just doing the same thing over and over, you're not really challenging yourself. So like your brain needs problems to solve. And so it's just for me, it was just an opportunity to kind of like do something different, offer something, like, create something that you offer to the world, and try to make it better.
That's kind of how I ended up in this chair, is whenever somebody asks me to do something that's new and different, and my first reaction is, well, I don't know if I want to do that. I have to tell myself, you need to do that at that point, because like you're saying, continual challenges, right?
Right.
And it keeps you focused, keeps you sharp.
Good. Nice.
So
nice.
Similar type thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me what a typical client would, if they're interacting with you, what would that look like? You said it was virtual, but how does it start?
So we have a website. They can review some of the offerings that we have. They book a consult online. They fill out the forms online. So I try to incorporate a lot of technology into it, kind of make the process smoother. So, now, like if you make an appointment at a doctor's office, you go in, wait for hours, fill out a bunch of paperwork, have to do it over and over on multiple visits because you're constantly writing. So kind of like taking a lot of that friction out of it. There's no wait. It's all virtual. You set up an appointment. You fill out the forms online. We store everything digitally. The visit is all virtual through video. And then right now the popular thing is weight loss. And so we have several products that we offer. You must have heard on the news, like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Those meds can run about like $1,200 a month. There's some coupons that people are getting where it may be $100 off or something like that. That's kind of expensive. So there are compounding pharmacies that use that same molecule and add vitamin B12 or a different vitamin to it, and they package that up. And so, that's a service that we offer.
Okay.
It's a much better rate than what you would pay for the brand name, and the compounded versions are just as good. So we have patients losing maybe like 10 pounds in the first month and 25 pounds in the first 3 months. People feel incredible, With that kind of weight loss, you feel like a new person, you feel like a different person. And so, but we're not just here to just say, hey, take the medicine. There's a lot of coaching involved. There's a lot of education involved. And so we have modules for them to work through. There's a lot of noise out there about what is the ideal diet. So, we kind of say, hey, this is what's scientifically proven to be healthy, to help with chronic disease management, to, help you live longer and healthier. And so a lot of it's based on the Mediterranean diet.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're giving it more credibility because you are a doctor, and it's not just coming from,
right.
Say, it's not a fad thing.
Yes. That's a good point because a lot of people come to us and say, hey, I've seen opportunities like this, but like I wasn't sure I was going to be talking to. I wasn't sure if like who on the other side was legit, if they were credentialed, if they were licensed, and so there is a lot of stuff like this out there that like people are nervous about. So I just wanted to have like a safe, solid option.
Well, and being a doctor, I mean, you've got obviously
Right.
the patient's health interest at heart,
Absolutely.
not just losing
Right.
weight.
Right. And so that's the other thing. We want to take a holistic approach to this. We don't want to be like, here, take the meds and go. We want this to be a holistic approach. We want this to, we want to help people change their relationship with food, which will in turn change their relationship with themselves. We want to kind of make that all better.
And how do you do the nutrition part? That's probably one of the harder things to get people to change.
So with the program, they're able to chat with us, ask us as many questions as they want. We have multiple appointments set up through the program. We have modules built in that educate them. Like, you'll be surprised what people don't know. What are macros? What is a carbohydrate? What are healthy proteins? Our modern diet is not healthy. It's not nutritious, and so we try to educate them, like, hey, this is what you should eat. This is you should drink water. You should eat this. These are the foods. It's better to get whole foods. Avoid processed foods. Eat lean meats, and so we have a lot of modules, weekly modules that they can read and learn, and we have like questions for them to answer, and make sure that they're getting the education, and they're helping them make lifelong changes, lifestyle changes.
And so let's talk about, so we've covered the W pretty good. We've covered the N.
Yeah.
Let's dive a little more into the L or the S, and talk about what are the things that you're doing in those areas.
So this is all new, but one of the L is longevity. Now, some of the hormones that our body's supposed to make, they start decreasing, right? So one of them is like growth hormone, which after your teenage years, after 18, it's just steadily declines and declines and declines. So, I mean, we're living to 80, and we're all starting to feel the fragility of aging, right? So, one of the compounds that we've prescribed is sermorelin, which is a peptide, a longevity peptide that tells your brain to make more growth hormone. Now, you can't overdo this because your brain will have your endocrine system will have a feedback loop, say, hey, we can't make any more. So it just tells your brain to make a little growth hormone, and once it's in your system, you'll after weeks of taking it, people start feeling better. Like, the first thing that people notice is they sleep better. They sleep like they do when they were teenagers. Do you remember, like, as a teenager, you had like vivid dreams, but like as you get older, those kind of go away. So one of the common effects that people talk about is like the first dose. It's like, oh my God, I slept great and I had such vivid dreams, and that kind of continues. And so sleeping better, just getting like deep restful sleep, has so much valuable benefits for your health.
Well, and so tell us about compounding pharmacies, because I don't think enough people know about those, and I've heard about it before, and it sounds like a very unique way to cut down on costs for all types of medications.
Sure. So basically, they're licensed pharmacies. They're regulated. A lot of the so like for these weight loss medications, the FDA has said there's a shortage. So if there's a federal shortage of these medications, then the compounding pharmacies are allowed to make the medicines. So basically, it's the same molecule. So for Ozempic, it's semaglutide. For Mounjaro, it's tirzepatide. So they use the same exact molecule. A compounding pharmacy can add other elements to it. So, like a common practice is to take the semaglutide and add a vitamin like B12 to it. Compounding pharmacies have other prescriptions that they work on. So, like a common thing would be for like sexual health. They may use like the Cialis or Viagra. They may take those components and then add other medications, other elements to it. Like a common thing is to take tadalafil, mix it with oxytocin, which is supposed to help you bond with your partner.
So they basically have the ingredients, the raw ingredients, and then they're making it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And so it's a great way for, or people like you to be able to send someplace. What is the discount? You mentioned the cost for Ozempic, for example. You
So
mentioned
like
it was
for us,
$1,200.
we're able to do it for like $300 a month.
Oh wow! So that's
for
like
3 months.
75% savings.
Yeah, yeah, and we try to have a concierge type of service. So a patient signs up with us. We give them the education, we talk to them, and then we ship the medication to their home.
Okay.
And then we tell them how to take it. We coach them on it, and then we're there with them as they're going through it. Like if they have any questions, and kind of checking in and making sure that they, we help hold them accountable to make sure that they're following. They're not just taking the meds, but they're like going through the program and doing all the other things that are necessary.
Well, and the longevity part, you don't look a day over 30, so you've got a
that's
lot of
very
credibility
kind of
when
you.
it comes to this longevity idea.
Yeah.
What do you do to keep in shape?
So, I would say one of the big things is, I have a meditation practice that I do. We do heartfulness meditation. So basically, I wake up around 5:20, 5:30 most days. Not all days. Like this weekend was Diwali, so we had like lots of Diwali parties.
Yeah.
We had 4 parties this weekend, so we're kind of exhausted. So, but usually I wake up early. I try to sit for at least 40 minutes of meditation. And then when I'm done, then it's time for me to take one of the kids to carpool. And and then I drop them off.
And then all that meditation goes away because join the real world again.
Yeah, and then you right.
Yeah, but it's a good way to start the day.
No, it's a great way to start the day, and it's having a consistent practice. So that meditation doesn't just last for the time that you're doing the meditation. It spills over to the rest of your day, and then as you're doing, as you do the meditation regularly and make it a daily practice, then it's like every day is infused with whatever is happening in the meditation, and then that makes your meditation stronger or better or deeper, and then so it's just kind of a flywheel effect.
Well,
that
and
happens.
it's important more now than ever because of all the distractions. We have our cell phones. Everything is So it doesn't have to be in meditation, but it has to be something where you're away from the stresses of the world for a little bit.
Right. So that, and then I do hot yoga a couple of times a week, and then I'd go to South Shore Fitness 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah.
So you live in the area?
Yes, sir. We live in Seabrook.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Live in
it's
Seabrook.
always nice to meet people that live in the Bay Area and work in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And so they really understand the area.
Yeah. No,
and what it needs.
I grew up in Houston. I came to America when I was 7. Lived in Alief, Southwest Houston area. Went to Galveston, lived in Galveston for a long time. Went to med school, residency. I was a professor in the ER there for about 12 years.
Okay.
And then about 10 years, 10 years ago, we moved to Clear Lake.
And that was with our sponsors, UTMB?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked at UTMB. I was in the ER there.
Okay.
It was a great time, and we just loved like that, living on the water, living near the water. I'd drive into work, I'd drive on the seawall, driving home, I'd drive back on the seawall. And it fits
right in with meditation.
Yeah, there was just such a quality of life to that. And so when we moved to Clear Lake, that was like one of the
Yeah.
things. We're like, we need to try to be near the water.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking out for our kids too. We're like, well, we probably need a good school district and
Absolutely.
so
No,
closer.
absolutely.
So like Seabrook was fit like a lot of our check boxes.
Yeah.
You know, great school district. We love CCISD. We love the area. Seabrook's a little quieter. It's not like being in the city, but it's also not far from the city. You know,
Yeah.
you can get into downtown Houston in 30 to 40 minutes. So, yeah.
So how do people get a hold of you? How can we
So our
reach you?
website is the easiest way, www.my-wlns.com.
All right. Awesome. It's been a complete pleasure having you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.